I had been trying to find the proper wording for my own costume parade. We call it the fursuit parade. It goes outdoors, and it's wonderful. It's a spectacle. People love it. But there are some folk whose costumes are very tight. Does everybody know what a codpiece is? They don't. Because I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh, that's a great costume. I'm watching the people come out. The city of Pittsburgh love it. Oh, yay, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And I had my back turned and I heard this like, I can only describe it as a flowing silence. It's as the crowd kind of went quiet. And it was coming my way. And I turned and here comes one of these fellas, very, very tight. And he was pointing away, I'm telling you. I was like, God! Somebody stop it, it's still good. God, please, please. I don't care how proud you are. I don't care, you know, man or woman, just wear one, I don't care. Just because, I mean, this, woo! These are the Chairmen Fingers. You notice I do this? Every convention chairman has the Chairmen Fingers. They go differently. Mine are here. Sven, his are down here. The chairman of Midwest Bird Fest is right across the eyes. You know, the guy runs the New York convention, his are, I can say that, it's my country. That's because we took it from you.
It's fine, you can keep it.
Yeah, actually, I would like to go back in time because I don't think our history books tell an accurate story. I just kind of picture, you know, King George III doing the Chairman Fingers going, oh God. What do we do with the colonies? Can we bomb them? Oh, we haven't invented bombs. God. And some minister of parliament came up and said, let's put a tax on the tea. They'll get pissed off and declare independence. Brilliant! Let's do it! Let's do it! So they took your tea, they threw it in the harbor, and just for show, you know, Lord Cornwallis showed up and was, oh, we're going to fight you. Oh, I surrender. Thank you very much. Off you go. I'm sure that's how it happened. Other war stories, horrible things that have happened. Horrible. Oh! I don't remember if I told the story last year. Actually, I don't remember last year at all.
All of us do.
Did I mention what happened the year that Anthrocon shared its flagship hotel with the New York Yankees?
No.
Let me tell you a story. The New York Yankees, America's team, they were actually staying in my hotel for the first 2 nights of the convention. My hotel. Thank you. And I got a bit of a surprise because their chief of security, die-hard New Yorker, came in. Does anybody speak New York? Okay, I give you a language lesson. You have to understand the lingo. The security chief of the Yankees, he came in, looked around and said, yo, the fuck? That means, what in the world is going on here? He came up and said, no, the fuck's in charge? Which is, may I speak to the chairman, please? And he was told, well, he's not available. He's crying under a desk somewhere. So the Yankees security chief went over to the front desk and said, hey, the fuck? Which means, could you please do something about this? Because apparently, as the New York Yankees are America's team, that makes them a target of terrorism. And when the security man saw all these people that you could not instantly recognize, see, he couldn't tell the difference between a fursuit and a burqa. Or maybe he saw a fursuit with the burqa. I don't know. But he said, when the Yankees come through, I want all these people out of the lobby. You have to clear the lobby. So the hotel came to me and said, we need you to get everybody out of the lobby. And I was like, the fuck? that too. By the way, if anybody is offended by what I say, just remember, I'm American. That's what we do. Good at it. So, I can't do that. There's hundreds of people in that lobby. What am I supposed to do? And they're coming in 30 minutes. So I thought, okay, the last thing we want to do is go into, you have to get out of the lobby. Oh, that's going to cause drama. I don't like that stuff. We got enough of it, okay? So I'm pacing back and forth. Remember how I said that if you run a convention, you need to be able to think on your feet. You need to be able to come up with something at the drop of a hat. I dropped my hat and still couldn't think of anything. I said, okay. You, and you. Down the lobby. Start spreading the rumor that Uncle Kage is drunk and out of control on the second floor and telling stories the board of directors doesn't want him to. And my operations director, once I announced this, said to me, okay, that'll get him out of the lobby, but what are you going to do? How are you going to, you got to do something. I said, not a problem, get me a bottle. So I did. I stood up on a thing like this and I just started shotgunning that bottle and I started telling every story I could think of that probably shouldn't have been told. But it worked. My security guy leaned in the door. Okay, they're done. So I came clean. I told everybody, okay, I have to tell you guys what this is all about, and the lobby and the Yankees and the Berkeley's and all that stuff. So, I'm sorry, I apologize. We're not going to do it again. Interesting thing about being a convention chairman, doesn't matter how much alcohol you drink, you can sober up like that and you get mad. Because I said, thank you everybody, I've got to go see someone. And I went down to the hotel manager and I said, we talk in the back. And I said to her, lady, I said, look, I did that for you because you asked me to. And because I like this hotel and I treasure the relationship we have, that's why I did it. But I'm not going to do it again. That's my lot. My people paid for it. They're staying. The Yankees don't like it. They can come through the kitchen. So she said, okay. She agreed. So, my people, their fursuits and Berkeleys were in the lobby. And the Yankee security guy came and said, the fuck? Which in New York translates to, I could have sworn I asked them to get these people out of the lobby. I must do something about this. So he went up to my security chief, hey, the fuck? Which means, excuse me, sir, would you be good enough to kindly ask these people to get out of the lobby? That's translated. And it was like, what, excuse me, sir, what? So, remember Renegade, the little Father Christmas guy? And he said, well, I'm afraid I can't do that. These people are hotel guests. However, my staff is standing by to assist you. We can help in any way we can. We can offer additional security. And the New York guy dropped his local accent and slipped into English. And he looked down at Renegade and said, I'll have you know I used to be a cop. And Renegade said, oh, that's nice. U.S. Army Airborne Ranger, 3 tours in Vietnam, bring it. And after the Vietnam War ended, Renegade took work as, I think they call it independent defense contractor today. So the Yankee security guy was very, very disappointed. And as it turns out, they came into the kitchen. This simply is an illustration of the saying we have in the family. Essentially is you don't fuck with Uncle Kage. Because I don't like when people do that. And I have never believed in an equal response. I am a proponent of massive retaliation, preferably preemptive. I am going to punch you in the soul if you try to dick with my convention, especially with my lifts. You do not screw with my lifts. We've got 5 of them most of the time. Does not compare at all to a previous hotel we had. It was called the Adams Mark Hotel in the city of Philadelphia. The Adams Mark was old. It was what my grandmother used to call a shithole. But it was our shithole. It was home. There were 4 lifts in the Adams Mark. The door side gave them names. They were, let's see, there was a Hades, Sir Speedy, Confused, and Bob. Sir Speedy could get you to the 23rd floor in 6 seconds flat. No matter where you wanted to go. You push any button, yeah, I'm at 23. Which is great for people on 23. Confused would go to a floor, possibly the button you pushed. It was like a random thing. You know, just go in, and you might get to your floor. You might be, hey, you know, Sir Speedy up there at 23. Hades. You would get into the lift, and the doors would close. And when you got to your floor, the inner doors of the elevator would open, but the outer doors would not. This little speaker would say, and then it would go back down and let you out. Bob was a fun-loving lift. He was like the disco lift, because Bob would show up at your floor at some level not quite equal to the floor, and he was sort of saying, and equilibrate eventually at the level. That's what they did when they worked. We have elevator line control. Is that elevator? I'm sorry. Sorry, it's a lift. I'll call them elevators. It's easier to say for me. Lift is too hard. We actually have to have security wrangling people in. Make sure we don't try to get 75 people into a single car. You know, make sure that nobody's holding the door, talking to us. Yeah, we're going to come to dinner tonight. And no, chop the hand off, get in. Well, that's kind of like the grunt work. For security, that's one of the baseline level jobs. Renegade's young daughter, Samantha, she was attending at the time for her first time. I think she was 12 or 13. So Renegade brought her along to kind of, you know, this is what Daddy does. And they decided, since she is a young security person, we will put her on elevator duty, because, you know, just make sure that's all you have to do. So they set her to it. And about 2 hours later, Renegade went to see how she was doing. She was taking bets. She had this giant pile of money and candy. And she was saying, okay, we got number 3, we got Hades. Okay, number 3, I got $5, number 3, got $5. Who's going to say number 3? Oh, number 2, thank you very much, sorry for playing. All right, now we got number 2. Okay, who's going to put down? She had like $800. And Renegade looked at her and said, that's my girl. This day they call her Bookie. Is that Mom? Hi, Mom. Is that your kidney for your transplant? Better be! I don't like these things. They tend to go off at inopportune moments. And should you be one of the people that has my number, don't call me, especially during Emperocon. When this rings, I fully expect the announcement of the end of the world. And this is true. You can ask people who have been victims. When my phone rings, when I answer it, it's not hello. It's what? Mom, hi. Unless it's one of the guests of honor. Fortunately, I had the foresight to program their numbers in so I can see who they are. That's the first time. That was no place. We have had some amazing guests at Hamburg. One of them was a gentleman named Bill Holbrook. He does a number of comic strips for newspapers in the United States, and an online strip called Kevin and Kev. It's, I believe, the longest running web comic in the entire history of the internet, like 30 years now or something like that. And Bill is an extremely down-to-earth, humble Georgia farm boy. Not at all, overly assuming. Very, very deferential and quiet. A proper Southern gentleman. And I told him there will be a car to collect you at the airport. Now, I don't believe in sending what I call the fan with the van to pick up the guests of honor. I send limousine. I invented that. Everybody does now, but I invented it. So Bill was there with his wife and his 2 little daughters. His youngest daughter, Haviland, is now graduating college. Old. Haviland was 9 years old. And they got their bags, and they were told a driver will come collect you. And they're looking around, they get to the driver, and Haviland looked outside, and there was this huge white stretched limousine that was from here on. And she looked down and she said, "Daddy, is that for us?" And Bill said, "Oh no, darling, those are for important people." Just then, Mr. Holbrook. And I'm told that the entire way to the convention, Haviland's eyes were as big as saucers. "Daddy's important." You can't buy guest relations like that. Why do I send limousines? Because I've seen the fan with the van. I've guessed at lots of conventions for whatever the hell reason, I don't know. I'm the guy they invite when everybody else says no. What are you going to do? Let's get Kage. He'll go to anything. Just give him booze. I'm cheap. I'm very cheap. I remember being picked up by the fan with the van. Now, in days of old, this goes back to time immemorial since science fiction conventions were invented. The practice was, whoever happened to have a car that was in running condition was sent to pick up the guest at the airport. And this fellow, I'm just going to say, he was a living stereotype. That's, when I say to you, older science fiction fan, picture in your head, that's what he was. And that's all I'm going to tell you. He came in, and first off, he was fascinated by the fact that I'm a scientist. I do chemistry. This is not just a costume. This is my working clothes. Not this one. I wear this all the time. He wanted to talk chemical reactions with me. And while we are waiting at the baggage claim at the airport, he kept talking about bombs. And I'm like, could we discuss this later? Like, when we're not here. Like, could you shut up, please? The face, close it. Not, please. So we got our bags. My bag. He was down. And we walked outside into the car park, and there was this really, really nice, big black Dodge SUV. And we walked around it to this battered, rusted 1972 Dodge van. One of the back windows was cardboard. I thought, well, that's charming. And he opened that back with one that had the cardboard and threw my bags in. I noticed all of his worldly possessions were in there too. Laundry, cats, you name it, was in there. So I walked around the passenger side. In my country, that's over here. I walked around the passenger side. He opened the door for me. There was no seat. I'm not making this up. There was a large orange bucket turned upside down that I was obliged to sit upon and hang on. That's when I decided I'm sending limousines for my guests. I've had guests tell me similar stories. How the fan with the van picked them up and then stopped halfway to the hotel to go to the laundromat and do his laundry. While the guest sat in the car. I got picked up by the van with the van, but it was James this time, so it was a very, very nice family. Taxi, and the driver spoke English. Where do you find them? Can you send them my way? We don't have any. I learned to speak Russian in taxis. What else has happened? What else has happened? I don't want to tell you stuff that happened at MyCon because that'll make me shudder. It's only 2 weeks away and I'll have flashbacks and I'll start shooting. Again. Let's see. Okay. We've had fire alarms go off. We've had chlorine bombs go off in the hotel stairwells. We've had costumes with fur sloughing off into the swimming pool, getting into the filter, and oh, thank you very much. Rain first. Yeah, rain first. Okay. Anybody was at opening ceremonies? You know how we mentioned some ground rules? Apparently Sunnycon is still young enough that you don't have standards of conduct that stretch 3 pages. Because every time something happens, it gets put into the standards of conduct, like the Scott Shaw rule. Every rule, you go to Anthropon standards of conduct, everything that's in there, you look at and you raise your eyebrows, is in there because somebody made it necessary. I'll give you an example. We used to have a list of prohibited weapons. That was 4 pages long. This is the United States, remember. And it started with pistols, handguns, muskets, belly saw knives, bayonets. 4 pages of banned weaponry. And I came down the stairs into the lobby one fine day to see a gentleman playing with a shoulder-mounted rocket launcher. I said, "The fuck?" He said, "It's not in the list." Well, goddamn, it wasn't in the list. And you got me, dude. The next year, it became no weapons. The standard of conduct went to a paragraph. There it is. And then it started getting longer. You know, little things like, please wear a cotton. If you are going to have a fursuit, do not have a fursuit that has the pattern of like a swastika in it. Everything is made necessary. Rainforest felt that Amphicon standards of conduct were too strict, so they didn't actually have any. Well, unfortunately, one too many times the hotel manager came in and did that. And the hotel said, look guys, this relationship is not working. We should see other people. And then proceeded to tell stories to every other hotel in the Pacific Northwest. Rainforest, I'm sad to say, is at an end. They're not holding it anymore. And the one thing that I absolutely do not want to say out loud is, I told you so! Because, yes, you look at some of the rules in African standard of conduct, some of them are obvious. Do not throw objects off of the balconies. We used to have a list of objects that could not be thrown off the balcony. Then it became just objects. Because people are creative. They are. We had to make an overarching rule. Rule number 0. Because conventions that have standards of conduct, any organization that has a standard of conduct, has what we call the rules lawyer. The person who reads the rules and says, well, by my interpretation, I actually can if these circumstances happen to fall in. No, it doesn't work that way. The rules of conduct for Sunnycon are 4 pages. Rule number 0 is at the top in red, and it simply says, don't piss me off. That's all. We'll be good friends, but don't piss me off. Do not do anything that disrupts my convention. Do not do anything that makes our attendees uncomfortable. And for God's sake, don't wake me up. Don't wake me up. I should probably relax that, because the hotel gives me a giant suite. It's got a bedroom at each end and 2 parlors, each with a bar inside. You know, I don't have time. I would love it, but I don't have time. I'm busy. I go up to the room, I sleep, and go back down. So I give security folks and my good German friends the opportunity to use those parlors for parties. The Germans know how to party. Just ask Poland about that. But, boy, that was getting old. I'm going to, a sidebar. At Confuzzled, which is a furry convention just 2 weeks ago, I believe, in Birmingham, I was doing a talk with a good friend of mine. He is the German convention's security chief. A talk very similar to this one. And I can tease him. Dari is Aryan and Prussian. He is as German as they come. And I kind of poking a little fun at him. And I kind of sneeringly said, so, what did your grandfather used to do? And he looked me in the eye and he said, my grandfather died in a concentration camp. And I said, I'm very sorry. And Dari said, yes, he fell out of the guard tower. And taking a sip of wine, and everybody in the front row was wearing it after that. I got hurted before. So I let the Germans use the 2 parlors that connected to my room for their party. But the rule was, the room here that's closer to my bedroom, if you can keep that quiet, that would be nice. I love it when I go into that room, because Germans are German. When I go into the room, it is fastidiously clean. The pizza boxes have been washed. And they're unfolded and stacked up with the corners perfectly neat. The empty bottles are lined up by brand, like the stormtroopers can. And you know, the curtains are pressed, and the room looks like it's brand new. So I don't mind letting them have their party. About 3 years ago, I knew the time, I woke up groggy, put on my clothes, put on my lab coat, and went downstairs. And I don't remember what caused me. I think I might have left something, my badge or something up in the room. I went back upstairs a little while later on, and I turned the corner of the corridor to see the housekeeper doing this. And she was standing outside the door to the suite's parlor that is next to my room. And I walked over, she did this. I looked in. Oh, Jesus. I just gave him $50. I'm so sorry. And I wanted to go find the gentleman that I've let the party. A fellow named Knight. It's wonderful. Basically, I just wanted to ask him to fuck. But unfortunately, rumor spreads faster than I walk, And what Night Pops heard was, Uncle Kage is hunting for you. And he hid. I would go into a room and he'd like dive under a table or something. I couldn't find him anywhere. So, eventually, I managed to track him down. And I said, okay, explain yourself. He said, I'm so sorry. We were going to clean up, but we wanted the room to be quiet for you. So we had everyone come out of that room, and we closed the door. We didn't know that the door would lock, so we couldn't get back in to clean up. And I said, dude, why didn't you come knock on my door? He said, no! We couldn't wake you up! Am I that scary? He said, yeah. So I said, well, yeah, okay. I had to give the housekeeper $50, which is like half a quid. And he said, oh, I must pay you back. I said, no, it's all right. It's cost of doing business. No, I insist I have to pay you back. I said, no. And we got into this argument. So finally I said, okay, I'll make a deal with you. Take your $50, give it to the charity. It goes to charity. Take it to the charity, okay? So he went up, and I noticed he handed him two $50 bills. And I told him, when we go up there, you're going to tell her exactly why you're giving her the money. So he did. I saw him, I was standing like 20 feet away, just watching, and I saw him. And the lady, she threw her arms around him, and she came running over to me and she said, that's so wonderful. He can trash your room anytime he wants. Sometimes things backfire. I think I'm at it. How much time do I have? Yes, another war story. Guests of honor that don't stop on time and just keep rattling on, and you got to throw them out. Ed, when do I finish?
12, 9.
And where the hell's my water? Oh. I was wondering where he went. Oh, Nick! He's here.
What's next, Ken?
Are there any Mexicans in the audience?
Spanish will do.
Okay, Spanish? Anybody? Okay.
No.
Indian who can speak Mexican, something like that. I don't know.
Moco.
I got it.
It's universal.
She the Japanese the glorious leader of Donald Trump. It's supposed to be like this Japanese girl, and she's drawn like pictures of Donald Trump like chibi anime style, and she's like they're watching like him on TV doing his like like his conferences or whatever. And she's sitting there like in the bed, and then like she ends up like skipping through like a world like this table that's like all happy and with Donald Trump's face on everything, and well it plays like this like, sort of happy like this like, sort of really good happy dubstep music. I'll show you this.
Oh yeah, that's Did they ever tell me how much time I have? That's it. Thank you all very much. Bye.